So, today is my 58th birthday, and it has not been a bad day, actually. In fact, as far as birthdays go, it's probably been one of the best. Didn't do anything special. It was just me. But, oh. See, the thing about it is that you guys are so obsessed with me. And I left. I'm, there's no way I'm dealing with you, dumbass. Says don't block me, you know? Thank you. Um, the what's in the profile picture. That's what I woke up to. Even though it was sent yesterday, I didn't see it until this morning. So it was the first thing that I saw this morning when I went on to my phone. And I've spent I always become really introspective on my birthday. I start looking at things, how my life is working, and let me tell you, you know, I have gone through some serious soul searching in these, especially these past few weeks. It was a very peaceful birthday. Thank you. And I when I woke up to that, it got me to start thinking, obviously, because they think that they're not going to get into any trouble, and yet they have spent the entire day sending me email after email. They've spent way more time thinking about me than I have about them. Yesterday, I've been working on my house and just cleaning up and doing stuff. It started yesterday when I realized that I still had paint left for my kitchen because my cupboards were in great shape, but they were icky dark pine. And I didn't want to replace them, so I painted them. And I'm unlike a lot of people. I like a white kitchen. I like a white kitchen. You can keep a white kitchen so much cleaner. And so I painted everything white when after I moved in. And I realized that I had paint left, and so I got some paint and touched up all of the cupboards in the kitchen, which just kind of brightened my mood. That's, I think, why they're focused on my house. Because they're really focused on my house. Like they were in Washington, but they wanted the house in Washington. They just wanted me to lose this one here. But this house was an answered prayer because I was losing faith living in Erlin, Iowa, beside the whole Erling, Iowa gas station fiasco bullshit. It was a fucking nightmare living in Erlin. And I was losing my faith. And at a time that I ended up selling my house and finding this house at the exact same time. And this house has been just an answered prayer. And that's why I like to keep it up. They have been so focused on me. They have been sending me emails. And I'm just doing shit in the house. I don't know what they expect from me because one of the nice things about it is that someone was super kind and sent me a super nice card of Marilyn Monroe. I love that old school stuff. I like Marilyn Monroe. I like James Dean. I especially like Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn, my mom was a lot like Aubrey Hepburn. Looked a lot like her, had a lot of grace. You know, Will you be opening gifts on stream? I don't know how to do that. Sorry, I'm not technically advanced. I but someone sent me a card and it had $40 in it, and they said it was a birthday gift. And so when people send me stuff, if you donate to me and it's not specified for anything, it's just a donation, I'll end up spending it on food, bills, animal food, anything. But when you send me something and say this is a birthday gift, I buy a present. I buy something physical. And the reason why I do that is because then every time I look at that piece, I remember the person who gave it to me or made it happen, you know? And so it was really, yeah, River Phoenix was. River Phoenix was basically our generation's James Dean, you know? Um, Say your Venmo, D Shurter. So if you want to donate or buy a book, Rabbit Hole got nominated for Book of the Year, but um, PayPal Venmo is D Shurter. So it's just my first initial, my last name, and tell me who I'm inscribing the book to, telling me where I'm mailing it, and I do that. But so today I got a birthday present, and that was nice because I never get any, you know. Oh my God, they just won't stop. They won't stop. And oh, that's what I was getting back to. They said that they wouldn't get. So I started thinking about it, and I started thinking about this whole thing about Michael Aquino because how I found out that Michael Aquino was supposed to have killed himself in 2019 was because after it happened, I got inundated with people who said they were members of Temple of Set, and they were every single one of them was demanding that I apologize to Lilith, and there was no fucking way I was doing that. I I had nothing to apologize for. But now, what, 2023, he supposedly committed suicide again. So I started comparing that to my stepmother because they convinced me that my stepmother was dead. And so I started thinking about the whole thing and realized that Michael Aquino lied about committing suicide. It was a lie in 2019 that he committed suicide. And the only reason why I just assumed is because I had heard that he had prostate cancer, and I just figured, well, he couldn't. Johnny Gosch is not alive. He was murdered the minute he became a nationally known. He was probably dead before that. But Gunderson, yeah, Gunderson was all involved. Anyway, when in 2019, when that idiot Aquino supposedly was supposed to have committed suicide, and I got inundated with members of Temple of Set demanding that I apologize to Lilith, that was all a lie, which means he went into hiding then, which, I didn't know. And you can't get someone, thank you for the birthday wishes. You can't get someone's death certificate if you're not related. It's not like you can just walk in and just get someone's death certificate. And so, but now I realize that it was a lie. And when I went to go, I knew that I had written articles about those fires in British Columbia. There were two camps that they busted. And how I found out about it is someone from the Royal Mounties emailed me because they were aware of my work and told me that Canada, British Columbia had busted two compounds. And I couldn't remember what the names of those compounds were, but they burnt down. They all lit on fire and were just fucking huge ass fires and everything burned up. Imagine that. But I knew I had written shit, so I went on my blog. So when they went on my blog and rewrote my book, because they rewrote my book, they also took all the shit out about those two fires in British Columbia. The only thing that's left is an art is a video that's not there anymore, so you can see the time frame of what I'm talking about. It was obviously those fires, those camps were discovered before I posted that video, which you can't see anymore. But that information is gone. That's the reason why Aquino wanted me to think he was dead. The same thing my stepmother wanted me because she knew. She knew if I knew that she was still alive, I would never stop. I would never stop. And I have no intention of stopping. Now, they have all kinds of devious shit planned. I know they do. They've gone out of their way to lay little subtle hints, you know? But one of the coolest things about today was, do you know that I went out in town and there were several places where people that I thought didn't even like me, just to let everyone know the conversation has stopped. So I can't see it, the conversation has stopped. Susan wished me happy birthday, and now the conversation has stopped. So I can't see the conversation. And so if something is going on in the conversation, which they seem to threaten me, and then people are taking screenshots of it, and it's knocking people off, that's what this shit is going on. Because they're trying to hide all of their shit. But Michael Aquino was afraid of me. Do you know that when I went online and just typed in his name and my name because I knew I had written shit about those fires. And so I went in and I actually found one article where that idiot actually acknowledged me. And I'm talking about Aquino. But they can do and say whatever they want. The very person who trained me is afraid of me. Chat all good so far. Okay. I can't see any. So just please keep me abreast. I just realized that I can't. But you know, I don't mind having these live chats or having these live videos and having the chat go on, but I don't see it because when I don't see it, I don't get distracted. And I can keep focus on what I'm wanting to talk about. Because they can say whatever they want about me. When I went around in town, people actually engaged me. And then at the very end of the day, I had someone who lives in my neighborhood. They were with their whole family. They were out walking. And stopped me and told me that it must be very difficult what I was going through and how much they admired what I was doing. And that's people in my town. People are starting to wise up and they're watching all of this. Even in my town, it's not going to be just a simple showing up like you did with Isaac Cappy. It's not going to work that way with me. I knew that when I came out and had to do this from the very beginning, years and years and years ago, and people who have watched me for years can attest to this. When I came out, in all of this, there's no dipping your toe in the water, because the problem is that you dip your toe in the water and it attracts all the sharks and they eat you before anybody ever figures out. So I knew that in order to do what I needed to do, I needed to come out just front and center. That's why I wrote a book and did a blog. It just was out there, doing interviews, just out there, because I knew that that was the only way to do this, is to be out there. And that's the reason why I started putting those signs in my front yard, because gossip is big everywhere, but especially in small towns. And I live in small town Iowa. Gossip is big. And I knew that shit was being said that, and my side, because no one was asking me any questions about my side. That's why I started hanging those signs out, because people would come by and take pictures of those signs, because I know they're going on my blog. I know they're watching these videos. I know they are. And there are a lot of people who really, I realized today in town, there are a lot of people who actually respect and admire me for what I'm doing, what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm trying to bust a child trafficking ring open. That's what I'm trying to do. That is what I have always been trying to do, is break this child trafficking ring open. And their arguments are lame. They're bullshit arguments that I've dealt with over and over and over again. And now I won't deal with them anymore. And they say, oh, well, that just shows that you're guilty. No, I'm not running around in circles. I am 58 years old. I am done being led in all of this. They're so much more focused than I am on me than I am on them. Should I got so much stuff done, and I feel just okay with life. You know, I do. I feel okay with life. I'm 58 years old, and whew, it's been a life. But I feel okay. At least I feel like my life has been one that has been worth living. You know, the things that I chose to do in my life. And I'm very happy with my own company. Do you know that this is the best birthday? Because I had no expectations and all I was hanging out with was myself. You know? A typical birthday for me when I was married was, I was promised that I was going to be taken out to eat. Thank you. Thank you for that. Keep me abreast, please. Um, I was promised all day that we were gonna I was gonna get taken out for my birthday. And at 9 o'clock at night, I had McDonald's takeout heaved at me, and that's the kind of shit that I used to do with my birthday. Now there's no one around to fuck it up, you know. And there are some of you out there who will understand exactly what I'm saying, because it's just, this was a nice birthday. I'm very comfortable with my own and my own company. And it's stupid stuff in my house. Like, I moved something, and so all of the little pictures that I have around it have to be just moved because, you know, it's the anal part of me. It's been fun. It's been fun. And it was a nice, relaxing day. It wasn't an awful birthday. Um, and I just wanted to come on here and say that it wasn't an awful birthday. And I also want to say that I appreciate a lot of you on here. There are things that are happening. I am not mentioning names on here because the game now is for me to mention names and then they cry and they're trying to get me taken down. They're trying to fuck me any way they possibly can. Any way they can. And while they're doing that, they just send just the dumbest shit to me constantly, nonstop, just constant. If I posted it, people would just roll their eyes because it's just. I'm in an insane asylum with a bunch of fucking imbeciles. That's what's happening. And I don't know how they think I should react to their stupid shit. You know? I kind of feel sorry for them because does it hurt to be so lame? You know? It's my birthday. You guys are emailing me over and over and over. And the only reason why I even do it is because when I take breaks, I just go look at my phone, you know? And I can just see that they emailed me. I never, usually half the time, I don't even open their shit up, you know? Because in the email, you can see some of the conversation and it's just like, oh, jeez, I don't even care. And, but it's just nonstop. They wake up and email me. Throughout the day, they email me. At night, before they go to bed, they email me. And that's if they go to bed, because fuck, they can stay up all night and email me. You know, it's. And why? Because they're afraid that their shit is getting exposed. And it is. Their child trafficking bullshit is getting exposed. There's no way around it. It's too out there and in everyone's faces now, you know? And who knew that Isaac Cappy would be the key to that? And the last mention that I saw of Captain Underpants, he tried, I didn't watch the video, I'm just going by what the title says. Isaac Cappy warned people about me, which is interesting because when I first started talking about Isaac Cappy, Captain Underpants told me that he had all of Isaac's electronics, had all the keystrokes, and never once was my name mentioned. But now that has changed to now Isaac was warning everybody about me, you know? The problem is that had I known the people that Isaac was hanging out with, Isaac and I would never, I would have never, I walked away immediately after watching that video that he made, that short movie where he played an Antichrist child killer. And I was, I was walking away then when I saw it because I had no interest, none. And like I said, it was Fiona who came to me and told me, my faith compels me that I need to at least give him some idea of the Spirit and Christ. That's just the teachings of Jesus Christ. Saved me. I'm really hoping the conversation's going okay. But and I did. And Isaac just seemed like he was a lost little boy. You know, he would just grill me about everything when I called. It was all about me. I knew very little about Isaac. I have said that. I knew very little. We only talked on the phone and did interviews. I would call, he'd be on that what Periscope, is that what it was called? And he'd be like, "Can I put you on?" And I was just like, "Sure." And so I would go on and, you know, and I didn't know I knew virtually nothing about Isaac's life. And what I did know about was so surreal to me that okay. Um it was so surreal to me that I couldn't, I had nothing to comprehend it with. The people he was hanging out with and all of that stuff. Even though the parties did sound like the shit that was going on in Omaha when during Franklin. But it was after Isaac was dead, and 4 years later, a little over a year ago, when I started talking about Isaac, and this group descended on me, and these are all supposed to be Isaac's friends, you know? The dude was doomed from the beginning, and I didn't even know about the friends. Now, oh, fuck, I just feel sorry for him. Because I know that last video when he was telling people he wasn't suicidal and someone was hurting his dogs, our conversation was going through his fucking head. Because it is exactly what I told him was going to happen. Because he was harassing, from what he told me, he had 4 of Michael Aquino's phone numbers, and he was harassing Michael Aquino on the phone. And I just didn't, it irritated the shit out of me. It did. I just didn't see the reason for it. And you couldn't tell him anything. He fucking knew it all, And so I got mad and we stopped talking. And then all of a sudden he's down in Australia, but I'm talking to Fiona every day. So I'm getting drugged into the chaos in Australia. And I'm in what, Council Bluffs at the time? No, maybe I was in Seattle. It's hard to keep track because this stuff is just, it's like a fucking whirlwind of non fucking stop chaos. That's all it ever fucking is. With people that are really, they think they're brilliant because they're underhanded and they're devious. So they think they're smart, but they're protected and they hide in the shadows. They're not smart. And dealing with them is just exasperating. You just, and you don't know because they have their entire history is showing up at people's houses and just killing them. It's a bit harder to do it for me. I live in small town Iowa, and everyone in town knows who I am and knows what I'm involved with. And so it wouldn't just go away. By any means will it just go away. It's interesting how God has worked it to put me in this position. Because it's all been God. It hasn't been me. I just do what I'm told. I plod along and try to do what I'm told to do. And I could have never planned all of this. I couldn't, but that's what I said. When God answers your prayers, the results are spectacular. Things fall into place that you didn't even have in your mind at all. That's what's so great about taking it and letting God handle it, because the results are so much more spectacular. And I know these people are afraid. They are obsessed with me. They are obsessed with me. And they don't have a brain in their head. They could not think themselves out of a wet paper bag. They can take advantage of in the shadows, but in the light, where they have to actually think, they're not a one of them. Not a one of them. Even the smart ones. Because they're so arrogant. They're so arrogant. and just think they can't be touched. And I keep telling them that I'm not playing on that level. I'm playing on a completely different level. A level that Michael Aquino knows. And Michael Aquino went out of his way to convince me that he was dead. That's who they think is going to protect them. Is a dude who had to go out of his way to convince me, me, just little old David Shurter. He says that he doesn't even fucking know me, you know? But he had to have all of those Temple of Set people call me and demand that I apologize to Lilith, which they knew I wasn't going to do. So that wasn't the point. The point was is that they wanted me to know that Michael Aquino committed suicide and believed that Michael Aquino was dead. So when I start to think about my place in all of this, what convinces me is their shit. The things they do, the things they've done, the things they've said, all of the work, all of the focus, all of the time. Really? If I was some nobody that was just a crazy fucking liar, they really would focus on me if that was true. Like they are. Really? You know? Really? It's not rocket science. And so when I start to look at it, I start to realize when I start to question where I am and my place in all of this, I just need to look at the facts of the matter. You know? I just need to look at the facts of the matter. They blew up a goddamn gas station to try and fucking kill me and then lied about it. Then lied about it. One explosion that levels the place is way different than two explosions that happen 9.5 minutes apart. So what actually happened is completely different than the actual official report. That's a fucking lie. But it's, again, it's the same thing of 4 years. Phoenix Enigma was driving under an overpass. Knew exactly the minute he drove under that overpass. Even though he didn't know the dude who supposedly had committed suicide and said there was no police presence. But knew the minute he had driven under that overpass and then got flustered when someone comes along 4 fucking years later and starts to say that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And now the story has switched to where he and Pootie were on the fucking bridge with Isaac and now need to be heralded as heroes for trying to save him. You know, that's quite the discrepancy. But that's how it works with all of this bullshit. And that's why they don't like me. Because I document this bullshit. You know? It's out there for people to see, and people are watching. They're watching. And they can see for themselves. Because they're not as stupid as you have them out to be. You have the whole public just, you think they're fucking just dumbass sheep. And yes, there are a lot of dumbass sheep. But let me assure you, there are some out there who are incredibly bright. And they're not ones to be on the forefront. And you have an army of people. Funny enough, people don't like fucking child traffickers. They don't like child killers. And they don't like fucking double lovers. And they don't like fucking Nazis. And so when you go whining about how people are oppressing you, it's because You're a fucking child trafficker, aka a child killer, a fucking devil lover, and a fucking Nazi. You know, maybe you should look in the mirror and stop blaming everybody else because they don't accept you for who you are. But the dark does, and it's going to. And you guys know it. If you didn't know it, you wouldn't have spent the entire day obsessively emailing me, especially when I wasn't emailing you back. I think I sent out one email to Andy this morning telling him to get a life, because the life he's leading is sad and pathetic. Nothing they do to me is gonna stop shit. Because it's not me investigating. I got a fire under everybody's ass. And now people are looking into it finally. But it's not just me. It's God too. I had nothing to do with this global satanic Nazi pedo ring that the FBI busted a year ago last September in New York City. Had nothing to do with that. And yet, it was very helpful to me. Very helpful to me. Because now it can't be denied. I had nothing to do with Diddy. Nothing to do with Diddy. That was all Isaac Cappy. And do you see why I didn't want anything to do with it? It's like hell. When you start looking at the shit that Diddy was involved with and all of those freak parties and shit like that, when I was a kid, they used to call them happenings. That's what they were. They were happenings. And same shit. And it's like hell. Fucking drugs and everyone's fucking everybody and everything and just, oh my God. It's fucking hell. When you envision hell, it's an eternity of that. And I had nothing to do with any of that, and it got exposed. That's what I'm saying. When God answers prayers, it's spectacular because there are avenues that open up that you had no clue about. None. But I do have to say, Diddy's helpful because now everyone realizes that it wasn't just Franklin and it wasn't just Epstein. And it's not just Diddy. And it's not just that Amber and Crombie and Finch dude. If there's that many, chances are there's more. And that's exactly who's on top of me. I drew them all out. I drew them all out for all of you to see. DavidShurter.com. If you really want to see the nitty gritty, go to my blog. It is just my name. DavidShurter.com. David Shurter, right there, and then it's .com. And you can go see in the last year, because all I've done is taken screenshots of all their shit and my shit and then just posted it so everyone can see the fucking conversations and all the shit that's going on and all the shit that's happened. I won't mention names on here because YouTube doesn't want to be liable, and I completely understand. But on my fucking blog, that ain't true at all. Because I can show the shit I'm talking about, so I'm not hiding anybody's identity. They like hiding the secrets. They have about 50 to 1,000,000 fucking names because they all think they're legion. They can be anybody and everybody on the internet. How fucking pathetic is it? It has to be an awful lot of work. I have a hard enough time just dealing with my own shit, and my name is connected to everything because I don't want anything else not connect, It's it's just easier for me that way. I'm old. I didn't grow up with social media, and it's a lot of work. I find it tiring a lot of times, especially when you're inundated with emails from idiots who threaten and accuse and lie and just God. And they want me to get defensive. That's what they want. But the stupid shit that they're talking about, you want to know what? I'm not going to be defensive about being a pedophile because I'm not a fucking pedophile. Why would I be defensive about being something I'm not? I guess if you called me a fucking purple polka dotted unicorn, I should be fucking upset about that too, right? Because, you know, obviously I'm not a purple polka dotted unicorn. So I'm not going to get upset about that either. You know, the whole thing about it is having a bunch of goddamn child trafficking, pedophile, child killers trying to say that I'm inappropriate with children when they at the same time are on all of these platforms with these teenage kids is just remarkable that anybody would actually take it. It's just, I guess, and they make videos about it. So it's not like it's a secret. But their shit is coming out because people aren't stupid. And people are seeing. People are seeing. If you were going to come into town and murder my friend Owen, maybe you shouldn't have sent me live videos. Of course, trolls are taking over the chat. That's when because they're scared now. They're scared. Because all of their shit is getting called out. If you were going to come in and murder my friend, maybe sending me live videos of my town. And then I know, Pootie, that you were also Andy. So you were outside my house taking pictures of the front of my fucking house. It was the same people. The fact that my sheriff protects you is absolutely vile. It's vile. And it's not hidden. People see it. They saw when Neil Gross sent us all that chain email saying there was nothing wrong, all posted on my blog, the whole conversation. But you want to know what? Shit's happening here that you're not aware of because you're not from small town Iowa. And I know that shit's happening. You think you're protected, but you are nowhere near as protected as you think you are. And all the shit is coming out. How's everything working out for everybody? The world coming together, is it? All your plans are coming to fruition? If that's true, and everything is going so well for all of you, why the fuck did you spend today inundating my emails with stupid shit? Don't you have anything better to do with your lives? You're fucking child traffickers. You go murder people. Go fucking... You realize how bad it makes you look, right? You realize how bad it makes you look. It just makes you look guilty. Like it hasn't been making you look guilty before. And again, if you're going to murder someone, maybe not send a bunch of live videos and brag about it. Maybe not jump all up and down and want to take credit for it. Maybe that's not the wisest thing to do. Isaac Cappy. The story has changed so drastically that anybody who takes the actual official narrative is a moron. Is a moron. Flat out. You know, it went from driving under an overpass to being on the fucking overpass and wanting to be heralded as a hero. And it just took someone who was a dick. Because I'm a dick, you know? Shit. I don't like conflict, but I'm not going to shy away from it. And you ain't going to make me run. You ain't going to make me hide. You're going to do whatever you're going to do. I can't fucking stop any of your shit. You know? But I'm not going to worry about it either. And today has been a great day. It's been a great day. And I guess the fact that there are people in town who actually went out of it, and we just talked about just normal shit. But they went out of their way to engage me. Now, granted, there are people who are in town who are not happy with me because Neil Gross is their golden boy. But you want to know what? They're defending and protecting someone who fucking protects child killers. So Neil Gross will never have my respect. He did for a while, a long time, for years. I thought he was on my side and he was just frustrated because there was nothing he could do. Now I realize there was nothing he was ever going to do. Erling was a fucking nightmare. At least Harlan isn't Erling. Oh God. But it's been a good day. And my friend, I know you're on here. Thank you for your $40. I don't know if you heard, but I turned that into a present because now every time I see it and I look at it, I will think of you. Everything in my house has a story that wasn't purchased at a Goodwill or, you know, thrift shopping and Goodwills and garage sales and all of that are just, if you have an eye, you can do shit. And that's the thing that I bought today was amazing, but it's in a consignment store, so it was cheap. But for the first time in a very, very, very long time, someone actually bought me a birthday present. And I was the Marilyn Monroe card was great. I would love to find a James Dean card. And I would love to find an Audrey Hepburn. I was lucky enough to find a drawing of Audrey Hepburn and I forget his name in My Fair Lady. There's a famous dude who drew a picture that I had been around when I was a kid. And when I got to be an adult, a friend of mine was selling it in a consignment store, and she sold it to me for $20. And I'm old, 58, and I was old when I was young. You know, I was old when I was young. That's okay. I've had a good life. One definitely worth living. Fought like hell. Stood up. Anyone can say whatever the hell they want about me, but I fucking took a stand. And for a long time, I've been standing alone. And I still took a stand. Because it was the right thing to do. And doing the right thing to do feels good. It feels good. When it comes down to it and you're not dealing with the attacks and the torture and all of the bullshit, and you just look at the facts of where you're at and what you've done. When I did that, especially today being my birthday, I have continuously tried to do the right thing. I have pissed a lot of bad people off in the process. But fuck it. You know? Oh well. But thank you for the birthday wishes, Andy. All the other fucking names that you have. It's just dumb. Well, I'm going to pray and I'm going to get off here because this is kind of boring now because I have not seen any of the conversation. Any of the conversation. It stopped a long time ago. That's their new game. They stop the conversation and they come in here and just inundate people with just the same bullshit that they have inundated people with forever. And I guess, go to my blog. I've dealt with all of it. I'm not I'm not being beat to death over a dead horse because the shit that they're talking about isn't even how they're presenting it. But regardless, the shit that they're talking about when I did attack my nephew when I was having a psychotic break after they made me light that dude on fire in Fremont when I was 10 happened when I was 13. And I am now 58 years old. And I'm fucking sick to death of dealing with it. Especially with a bunch of dumbass motherfuckers who just want to use it to cause dissension so that nobody looks at their child killing, trafficking, pedophile fucking asses. That's why they use that shit. But you want to know what? I'm 58 now. I was 13 when that happened. I tried to commit suicide the same night that it happened. Then I tried to commit suicide again. On the third time, they stuck me in a mental institution for 5 months, a week after I had turned 14. And so, I tell you what, let me make you light some dude on fire and see how well you handle it mentally. Better yet, why don't you hand me one of your 10-year-old fucking kids? And we'll do that to them, and then we can watch how well they handle it. I am tired of being judged for that shit. Tired of it. And the people who want to do it, go fuck your pedophile asses. Shit. You're trying to hide your pedophile ring by trying to assert that I'm a pedophile. But there's nothing about me that has ever shown that I was a fucking pedophile. That's the reason why I don't give a shit about, if you're dumb enough to fucking believe that, then maybe you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself why. Because there's no logical reason to believe it. What, because a bunch of fucking anonymous child traffickers trying to hide their fucking operations are trying to say that it's true? Go ahead. Take the side of the child killers. In the end, I can guarantee you it won't work out well for you. Just saying. With that, I want to pray because I want to keep this to an hour. Heaven, thank you. Today has been eye-opening and heartwarming. And just, you gave me what I needed, and I can't tell you how grateful I am. I'm tired of fighting all of this, and but I do appreciate the reprieve today. Funny enough, a simple suggestion of maybe I shouldn't look at my phone all day helped out a great deal. It, in the end, became almost comedic. I thought it was funny in the end because they just I definitely live rent free in their heads. Anyway, just let everyone that listens to this lift them up, engage their minds and their hearts so that they at least consider what I'm saying. They don't have to agree with everything. I'm not a dictator. I just ask that everything that I'm trying to expose is at least considered and fairly considered. And I do this because I love you and I love mankind and I love the word. I love the word. It is the way it is supposed to be. And so let it be. You know? And so I'll fight until the end because that's what I'm fighting for is the word. To be quite honest, with everything and everyone, it boils down to the word. That your son, our brother, taught us how to live. And I can't be more grateful. I can't be more grateful. And I say these things in your son and our brother's name, Jesus Christ. Awen? I think that's how you pronounce it. Okay, well, with that said, I'm out of here because I can't see, I haven't been able to see any of the chat for now, what, 45 minutes? And I'm bored sitting here talking to myself. I'd rather go down and take a bath, listen to music. It'll be the great way to end this day. I appreciate you guys more than all of you know, even though I haven't been able to see the chat. I appreciate you guys more than what you know. I just... You guys give me hope, you know? And you know who you are who sent me that card. Thank you so much. I will send you a picture of what I bought because it's just an amazing... It's what I needed. And it's funny because I put it on layaway. Another person actually helps out. The whole thing about it is that I can't say that people aren't helping out with donations and stuff like that. I've already gone to the tax people to make sure that what I have to do at the end of the year. But some of you really just help out when you can. And it's not a lot, but it's, you know, it's not the amount. It's the fact that fighting this day in and day out with all of their shit and all of their chaos and all of their threats, it is really easy to start thinking that you're in it alone and no one gives a fuck. And it's really hard to keep fighting when you start thinking that way. That's the reason why, if you go back and read what the profile picture, they focus on that. No one's going to help you. No one cares. No one's going to do anything for you. And so when you guys step up and actually just, even if it's something small, when you guys step up, it means so much. I needed it so bad today. I needed it so bad because I was feeling, like I said in a couple of live videos, I've been feeling like I was forsaken. Just completely, just, it's been me and them. And they suck. They suck. There's not one decent thing I can say about even one of them. They suck. They're just despicable lowlives. There's nothing quality about them at all. And dealing with them sucks. But the fact that I'm actually able to have people who actually show their support, it's helpful when I can read the conversation, which I haven't been able to do. So I'm gonna get the hell off of here because it's almost 8 o'clock at night, and I'm gonna go take a bath and journey and pray and express all the gratitude I can because heaven has really had a hand on this day in a way that I cannot begin to describe, and it has been so nice. So, with that said, I hope everyone, I'll talk to you guys soon.